This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
It's your boy Miguel Z with the Value of Wrestling New Japan Rebound Podcast. I've got a guest for you folks at Stockton Con.
What up, everybody? AJ Kirsch here, the voice and the host of Stockton Con. The value of wrestling is awesome, so subscribe on YouTube. Scan the QR code right here, now. Subscribe, check it out.
There we go.
You'll be glad you did.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, man, shout out to Value of Wrestling. I'm right here with the Big O's, San Jose. We gonna shut the shit down. Love and respect, though, right? Value of Wrestling. Hello.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank
Oh, you didn't know? Well, you better get ready. Better tell somebody. Because this is the Value of Wrestling. We're right here with your Dynamite post-show review for April 17th, 2024. Are you ready as I fly this show solo? You know we got Mr. Miguel Z jumping in the chat. Where's Mr. Clarke? We'll see if he shows up to tell us a little bit about how he's feeling about things going right now. But for now, I'm here and I'm alone, and we're going to address the subject matter. We're going to talk about something. It's the nitty gritty. I know there's a lot of talk. Look, I don't know you. You don't know me. That's fine. But you better realize the value of wrestling. We may not be the most fanciest channel. We may not be the best at everything. But damn it, we're going to be the best. We're here to play. We're not here to pretend. We're here to be contenders, not pretenders. And you can believe that. Take it to the bank. So say what you will. Say what you want. But get ready to say our name, because we're going to hit the mountain. We're going to get in this battlefield. We are going to be ruling the IWC. You can believe that whether you like it or not. There will be a day you'll be asking me. You'll be asking any one of us, whether it's Mr. Clarke, whether it's Miguel Z, whether it's the big time myself. You better recognize we may not have the prettiest graphics. We may not have the fanciest entrance. We still putting together because we just stepping on each stone to the mountain, to the top, to the peak. Because the value of wrestling, oh, brother, let me tell you. You better say some respect on that when you get ready to start saying that name. And you better start saying that name because we coming to be a part of this game. You can believe that. We're about to blow this up. And we're about to set this place on fire. And we're going to change the IWC, hopefully for the better, because that's what we're here to be. And we are going to be the best. We are going to bring things that ain't been done in this platform because we know what we're going to do. We got plans. It's just getting there. And we may not be there yet. We may not be the biggest platform. We may not have the most viewers, the followers, and all that needs to be there. But we are coming. They always use these guys to death. Never every damn show plus the pay-per-views. No wonder why there's so many entries in AEW. It's hardcore, but not smart business. Mr. Real Wyatt breaking it out. The Real Wyatt here. Join us in the chat. Thank you for being here, Mr. Real Wyatt. We're going to get this show on the road. We're going to get this started. But I'm just here to say you better recognize Value Wrestling is on its way forward. We are growing. We are going to be number one. Anyways, The show opened up with Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley winning the IWGP Championship at Windy City on Thursday, becoming an IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He is out here to open Dynamite. The fans are excited to see him. He's here to challenge and tear down the whole Don Callis family. That is his goal. That is what he's going to do. And he leaves with a challenge to challenge the biggest member of the Callis family in Powerhouse Hobbs. Moxley and Powerhouse Hobbs are going to go one-on-one next week on AEW Dynamite in Jacksonville, in Daly's place. Whoopie-doo. I mean, I know my boys, Paulus, Clarke, Miguel Z, are huge fans of Powerhouse Hobbs, and I respect. He's from the Bay Area. We are Cali representing. We are West Coast. We are bringing you it like we do out here. And we have respect for the Powerhouse Hobbs. But this is another match that Powerhouse Hobbs is going to get fed to Moxley. And Moxley is going to dominate over him because there's just no real reason for Moxley to lose after winning the IWGP Championship. And Powerhouse Hobbs, as bad and as great as he is, this has not been presented as anything in AEW. And I'll say it time and time again, you got a big man that could be a beast of a man, but you keep creating him to be a joke. Powerhouse Hobbs hasn't done anything. I mean, he slammed Paul White onto a car, looked impressive, and then you duct taped him to the ropes and made him look like a booch. What are you doing, Tony? And then you want me to feel like he's a competitor for Jon Moxley, that he can go out there one-on-one with Jon Moxley, who just won the IWGP title, which is probably, and I hate to say it at times, for some people, if it's not the most prestigious title of all titles to get, it's definitely up there with, the WWE title. I mean, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the IWGP, the historical value to that title makes it so prestigious. And the men that have held it, far and few in between. And you have to be selected. This isn't just about winning a title. You have to really be selected to be in that position, to be in that place, to be in that status. It's, the NWA 10 pounds of gold carries a whole weight of prestige in this, and the men that have carried that and made that legacy, well, the IWGP title has that legacy. Now that Moxley's carrying it, he definitely represents something and definitely has earned that place and earned that shot and earned to be there. But he's in AEW, so we don't know how it'll be booked or how it'll be made to look out. Anyways, from there we had Adam Copeland and Will Nightingale teaming up to take on Julia Hart and Brody King. Adam Copeland came out first. Will Nightingale music hit, but she was attacked in the backstage area. The lights go out, and Julia Hart and Brody King are in the ring. Brody King, the lights come back on. Brody King attacks Copeland. They go back and forth for a long period of time before Will makes her way to the ring with Stokely and Chris. Will tags in, hits a crossbody on King. Julia runs away. Cope spears King. Cannonball Willow onto King. Hart clocks Willow with a chair. Cope and King take each other out over the top rope, and Julia locks in Heartless for submission. And Will Nightingale going into the big pay-per-view on Sunday, tapping out the Heartless, being injured in the backstage area. Decent match, but didn't really set up a whole lot here to make you go, Kind of made Willow weak going into the big pay-per-view, into the big opportunity that she has going forward. Okay, getting messages. Always getting messages, always staying active. I know some people might not like that, but hey, something comes up, I got to make sure I check it. Anyway, Julia Hart and Brody King win 8 minutes, 48 seconds. The match was stopped. Okay match where it was going on. Will coming out in the end, but getting beaten after not even being out there. I just didn't do anything for me. Doesn't help Will Nightingale to look stronger going into her match against Julia Hart, but it does look like Will Nightingale, with everything that's set up, it's probably going to beat Julia Hart at this point. Anyways, after the match, Mercedes Moné comes down with a chair and chases Julia out of the ring. Moné shakes hands with Adam. Of course, before this match, we had Moné last week. She promised to get revenge on whoever attacked her. Mercedes Moné looking like a cheap knockoff of Zelina Vega, sadly. And I hate saying that. Mercedes should be something special, but she's definitely going for a more heel character as she builds forward, so hopefully we get something out of that. But the fact that she's not going to wrestle until Double or Nothing, get a title shot in her first real singles match, it's just a shame. It really is. It's just wasted opportunity. So, Sorry for the dog barking in the background. I know I took a drink at the same time the dog started barking. Can't do much about that right now. Anyways, Mercedes Moné comes out and helps out Willow, and Adam shakes hands with Adams. Looks like she was going to turn on Willow at one point, but didn't. Anyways, we're backstage with Renee Burkett, somewhere way back in the depths of this arena, and they are out there, and Renee Paquette is with Samoa Joe. Joe sees Swerve as more of a nuisance than anything else. He compares Swerve to a punching bag as he keeps coming back. Renee shows clips from last week. Joe was concerned about Swerve taking his property and having to disinfect it. He doesn't know where Nana's been. Joe notes Swerve's penchant for choking. Says it will never happen again. Joe is going to choke out Swerve at Dynasty. Anyways, we're getting a video package of the Young Bucks or the Matthew and Nicholas Jackson and FTR when we hear the Jacksons talking over the camera telling Tony to cut it. They cut out the video package. They're standing there with Okada. They're talking about social. This should be on social media. They'll play it later. They cut off. Tony Khan looking like a goober. Sitting there just getting, okay. Tony Khan looking stupid on camera even. I mean, good God, what an idiot. Okada promises that Pac's going to be a dead man. Nobody cares. Okada is like half dead. He's taking on Pac for the international title, which hasn't really been built to mean anything to anybody. FTR versus the Young Bucks is just another match for another match. And yeah, it's going to be a ladder match, but this just doesn't do anything. And Tony Khan being in the scene with the three of them, just, I don't know how to explain to Tony that imaging is everything. Seeing you sitting there with them shaking, instead of holding these boys accountable or putting them in check in some way, just shows that you're aligned with them. It makes you look like a dumb goofball idiot. Makes you look like a money mark, a fanboy. Look stupid, look retarded. You're just hanging out there with them, and it's bad. It's a bad look all the way around. Honestly, it is. I mean, it's just a freaking shame. You're sitting there with the Young Bucks, and they're making you look like jokes. They're making you look like I don't know. It's just he's sitting there, yeah. If you don't want to be an on-screen character, Tony, don't be on camera. Not even with the Young Bucks. You're not supposed to be in that position, or hold the Bucks accountable. If you want to be the good guy, the babyface, the head of this company that's going to do it differently, then you need to hold them accountable. The only person that's going to ever be able to hold the EVPs accountable is going to be Tony Khan at this point. This is the way they're going to book the storyline, these incredible, insane EVPs. Who's going to take them down? They're going to try and take over and take control, and Tony Khan's just a giant goofball clown. Anyways, we get Okada and the Young Bucks versus Pac, Daniel Garcia, and El Pinta. All of the other BSs in AEW hurt Swerve. Yeah, everything's hurting Joe and Swerve. Swerve should be on his way to being the first black AEW champion, period. This should be what it's all about. They should be getting ready to celebrate that, crowning Swerve finally reaching, working through all the indies, working through WWE, getting to AEW, working through AEW to become who he is today, and a rightful deserving champion. And everything else is secondary to everything else. The Young Bucks and this Okada crap is boring. Okada looks soft and dull, and he comes out in his white gear. Hopefully he comes out with something different in Dynasty. The Young Bucks looking like tampon bucks. And Daniel Garcia coming out dancing in his the crappiest looking shirt on the AEW store. What is it? Is he working at the car wash? Should that be his new theme song? I don't know. Penta looking like a joke here. They can't do anything with Penta. Penta's fallen away from when the beginning of AEW started. Garcia eats a double super kick, and Garcia dancing in the corner. He has Matt Jackson in the corner, and he's doing this dance with a hip thrust. It's just bad optics. It makes Garcia look stupid. He eats a double super kick, then a Rainmaker from Okada. Okada pins Garcia for the 1-2-3. Okada, the new Elite, win. Garcia eats an EVP trigger to get slammed on a ladder. The Elite try to murder Garcia, but Pac chases him off with a hammer. Yay. AEW teaches us about the NHRA with Austin Proc. So, yeah. versus Joe doesn't feel like a single most important match at Dynasty, maybe third or fourth. It's a shame. Exactly. It's going to be the main event of Dynasty. Dynasty's also going to be like 5 hours from what I'm understanding. Now that they've added 2 more matches, I think we had 8. Now we have 10 matches. It's going to be 5 hours with a kickoff show. And 2 of the matches they added tonight are just garbage. Just make me want to scream bloody murder because there's no reason for it. Everything on the show, I mean, Adam Copeland and Brody King were okay in the ring together. The fact that they had to take Will Nightingale and she came out at the end like the babyface and still got choked out by Julia Hart does not help sell her to win, though I think she probably will win because they're going to set up Will Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné for double or nothing. That's the direction they want to go with that. Okada looks like a joke. One of the greatest Japanese wrestlers, one of the greatest Japanese in New Japan Pro Wrestling, one of the greatest IWGP champions. Right, Mr. Z, one of the greatest IWGP champions. Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker. Looks like soft serve ice cream. Looks like a joke. He's standing next to the elites. He looks pathetic. He is not anything that we thought he was going to be. What a waste of money that they've wasted on Okada and Monet at this point. Yes, the fans are chanting his name, and there's moments, but they're not drawing new eyes. They're not bringing anybody in. And even Tony Khan's come out and said, well, if you don't know about these guys, you have a whole world, a whole plethora. I guess he's stealing from another YouTuber here who says, go Google it. That's what Tony Khan wants you to do. He doesn't want to be the guy that runs a wrestling company that teaches you about the great talent that's coming into his company to sell that talent to you. He's just like, here's this talent. If you want to learn more about him, go to YouTube, go Google it. That's not how you sell anything, Tony. That's not how you get a star over. That's not how you make a star coming over from Japan that has a huge name and a huge cult following. You're bringing them over and you want to introduce them to an American audience and grow your audience. You have to teach that audience. The audience, you tell the audience, go Google it, they're going to be like, yeah, whatever. I don't have to, don't want to, don't have a desire to, because you're not showing any importance. It's trash. And Okada's going to be done. So Okada's already done. You don't want to share video packages of these guys and sell the audience on why they're this talent, why they're great, why we should respect them. You want us to just go research it because it's all out there on the internet, Tony Khan. That's your lazy booking and you're pathetic. You're a clown. You showed us you're a clown in the video where you were sitting there with the elite, the new elite, sitting there while they're telling you to cut stuff and talking garbage. You say, yeah. Get off camera, Tony. You're making yourself look stupid and stupid every time you get on camera. Disassociate from the elite. They are supposed to come off as the EVP petty, EVP heels, whatever, the tampon bucks, and you're siding with them. Optics are everything. If you're continuously singing with them, then you're just buddies with them. You're just wanting to get on camera because you're with your friends. All Friends Wrestling, right? You wonder why CM Punk basically trashed you and told you you're not a boss. Because look at what you're presenting yourself to be. A fanboy. Yeah, there you go, Tony. You can always promote the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound podcast right here on the Value of Wrestling. Get ready to say that name. Learn how to say that name. Put respect on that name. Because we're coming. We're going to make it. We are going to be the next biggest podcast in the world of the IWC. We are going to be the elite of the IWC, but we're going to do better than any of them elite will ever do it. And that's a fact. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. The Value of Wrestling's coming. We're coming. You better believe that. The things that are in the woodworks that people just don't know about. I promise you, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. Anywho. Okada, the Bucks get over, and yeah. Anyways, we have the segment where Chris Jericho has asked Jazz to be the broker between him and Hook in the conversation. Poor Jay White. He's going to be on a pre-show again. Once again, Tony. Yeah. Jay White, former leader of Bullet Club, aligned with names like Prince Devitt or Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Kenny freaking Omega, David Finlay. All names that were leaders of Bullet Club. Let alone we can talk about Tama Tongaleo, Bad Luck Fall, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Cody Rhodes, and all the other millions of names that have been aligned with the Bullet Club. And here's how you take Jay White. You tag him up with the Guns, throw him at the bottom, then align him with the Acclaimed. make it the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, then break them up because you realize it was a bad idea, and now you're going to put them on the pre-show in a 6-man tag that's not going to do anything for anybody. One team's going to come out with all titles, and hopefully you just unify those titles. Ring of Honor doesn't need a 6-person tag titles anymore, and that's perfectly fine. But, yeah. It'll probably be a pre-show match. Probably. No doubt about it. You know, you want to say the show's boring, but it's average because it's the same shit. And Tony, let's see. Do you pop a rating this week? Can you hold 819,000 viewers like you did last week? Bet you don't. Bet you those viewers all checked out early. Anyway, so we have Jericho and Hook in the ring with Taz. Jericho trying to ask Hook to be his buddy. They want to be friends. Hook says, I'll help you. Or Jericho's like, I'll help you. And Hook's like, no. Taz tries to get involved and calm down Jericho. We go back and forth. Eventually, Jericho shoves Taz down. And then Hook gets all mean in a weird, like, I don't know. This feels like, I guess the optics true. It feels like the son that's like the little son, like the teenage son that's, you know, you disrespected his dad. Now the son's going to grab up on you. And Hook with these weird facial expressions as he's grabbing up. You know, Juice Robinson's probably good, happy he's on the shelf and not having to get defamed or soiled by all the garbage going on. Anyways, Hook grabs Jericho, pushes him in the corner, and like, Mia, don't do that. I'm coming after you. And Jericho, you want another match? It looked like a straight joke. It was bad. It was bad. It was just totally bad. It was. The segment set up decently, but the ending was just like grabbing Jericho in the corner, looking all like he's big and badass, and it's just the feel, the vibe is not there. It wasn't there. It just. Anyways, this is going to lead to Hook versus Jericho at Dynasty for the FTW Championship. That match has been booked. It will happen at Dynasty. Jericho versus Hook 2 for the FTW Championship. Is Eric Jericho about to be an FTW champion? I don't know. We already got Hook beating Jericho. We don't know how this is going to go. This is just bad optics, and everybody was celebrating that Jericho may not be on an AEW pay-per-view. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, they found a match for him. I know, ain't that the truth, Mister the real Wyatt here going. I really thought Taz was going to choke Jericho, and then Hook didn't even react. His dad got put. He didn't react. Like Taz got pushed down, and it took him a minute for even Hook to really look like he was getting upset, and he didn't really go like in rage mode. Like he should have been pissed off. He just shoved his dad. I mean, he should have been like up in Jericho's face far more than like. He was making these weird, funky faces, and I'm like. Is he trying to be mad or trying not to laugh? I don't know what he was doing. It was bad optically. Setup was decent, and then the execution at the end just went bad. And it's a fact that if you disagree with me, you thought this was one of the best segments of the show, that's fine. It's Sandy. That's your opinion. I'll debate it with you all day. This did not look good, and this didn't build any excitement to see Jericho and Hook go at it again. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, Renee's in the back with Swerve. Swerve don't believe it. He's a choke artist. He's been stumbling his whole career, but he keeps falling forward. He runs down the list of things he's going to go through. Joe calls Swerve anything he wants, but on Sunday he's going to call him the new champion. But Swerve says he sees Joe in the ring tonight. All right. Sorry, I had to get a drink there. Bear with me. Deonna Purrazzo versus Mariah May with Toni Storm and Luther. Mariah, Toni Storm May, if anything else. A decent little match here. Eventually, a DDT gets 2 for May. May tries for a roll up on Deonna. We get Virtuoso reverse for 3. And Deonna Purrazzo gets a win at 8 minutes. Even decent match. Deonna Purrazzo's now back on top of Mariah May in the rankings. So I guess she's going to get a title shot out of the Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa Toni Storm match. I guess that's what we're going there. Toni Storm then attacks after the bell. This brings out Thunder Rosa. Comes down and takes out all 3 of them. Thunder and Deonna briefly argue, but May and Storm break that up. Thunder gets a measure of revenge on Toni for marking up her face. So nothing special here. It was a decent match. You got to give the wrestlers in the ring what they do is good. but everything else was just poor execution. Backstage, Renee's with the Bang Bang Gang, and Jay White issues a challenge for both the trios titles. We go to commercial, we come back, Daddy Ass, and he claimed it stepped. So now at Dynasty, we're going to get Jay White and the Bang Bang Gang against Daddy Ass and he claimed for both sets of trios championships. I believe so, Mr. Kirby, but you wouldn't know that by watching AEW because they are sure not building that as the main event match that it should be. Unfortunately, it's taking a back seat to a lot of other crap. He deserves it and should be AEW champion, but I think it's going to fall on flat ears and it's not going to be the run that he deserves because they're not setting him up for the success in the go. But we shall see. From there, we got Orange Cassidy versus Shane Taylor. For whatever reason, Shane Taylor Productions, Anthony Ogogo, Lee Moriarty, Shane Taylor sends his boys away since Orange Cassidy is alone and has no best friends to be out there with him. Eventually, Orange Cassidy, the OC takes on the ringside clothesline from Taylor to get two. Shane blocks the first orange punch, but he can't block the second. Orange Cassidy gets a big win. The match goes 7 minutes, 58 seconds. It was an okay match. It was just another match to get Orange Cassidy on TV because he's one of Tony Khan's favorites. It's hard to get excited about this anymore. Shane Taylor's had a couple big wins. Now they're going to get some losses. Afterwards, Moriarty immediately attacks OC after bell, and Ogogo knocks the man out. Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal try to help out, but Trent Beretta takes them both out with a chair. Moriarty locks in the submission, while Trent walks out with best friends like Trent, who needs enemies. We get a promo package. Roderick Strong was happy to have Kyle O'Reilly back, but now he's going to end the man forever. Seems harsh. So, we get that. And, we have a, who's this? Let me see. We're having breaking news. Always breaking news. Continue. Okay, I don't know if this is reality, but for AEW Dynamite set to air for this week's Rampage, which will air on Saturday the 20th, you'll have 3 hours of AEW with Rampage and Collision together, and then you're going to go into Dynasty the very next night. Anyways, it looks like in an in-ring segment, Ruby Soho has revealed to Angelo Parker that she is pregnant. Where is Gene Snitsky when you need him? Ruby Soho is pregnant! I'm sure that's going to be a kayfabe storyline. We'll see how that is. We'll see how that goes, where that goes, or how that plays out. Oh my god, that's going to hurt my head. That's the breaking news. Main event time, Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin versus Claudio Castagnoli. This was a good match, back and forth. Don Callis was out on commentary. This is a solid back and forth between these two. And it was what you expected. It's sad that they're wasting something like this on Dynamite. Will Ospreay is going to run through everybody on here before it gets anywhere. And it's kind of a shame. Claudio hit a beautiful uppercut. He tried to go for a swing, but Ospreay turned it into a DDT. Cancun Tornado Splash gets 2. We get the hidden blade, and that's a 1, a 2, a 3. Will Ospreay wins at 14 minutes, 25 seconds, and I think everybody got excited because it looked like Dynamite was going to end at on time. But at the end, they had about 3 minutes to catch the humps, and Fletcher came down. They started attacking Castagnoli. Swerve was not happy about this and was yelling at them. Moxley eventually intervenes and evens up the number. Will Ospreay continues to yell at the family members afterwards as Ospreay walks away and the family members walk out together. We get a rundown from Excalibur, the upcoming Dynasty show. It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and here comes Swerve. It's after the hour. We got it under overrun. Here comes Swerve out to the ring. He wants to confront Joe. It's after the show. We got an overrun. And again, Tony, why do we have an overrun? An overrun should be set up to get people interested in what's to come or that week's show, not just a feud like this. This should have an overrun with a cliffhanger. This doesn't leave you with anything. Swerve comes down, Prince Donna dances, Swerve is here, he calls out Joe, Joe calls out, and all of a sudden AEW has a ton of security. But backstage when Jack Perry and CM Punk are getting into it, there ain't no security. But when Joe wants to come down and beat on Swerve, there's 5 or 6 security guys stopping him. Make it make sense, right? Exactly. Anyways, Swerve eventually goes after Joe, who's being stopped by the security guards. He flies over and stomps on the security guards, knocking him out. Joe and Swerve start going at it. Joe sends Swerve into the steps. Joe then tosses Swerve in. He then goes for Nana, but then Swerve takes advantage and then fights off Joe, gets him in the corner, knocks him down. Looks like he was going up to finish it, but then Joe gets up, knocks him down, hits a muscle buster. Joe is winning, or standing tall at the end, making Swerve look pretty pathetic. But I definitely think it's setting up for Swerve to win at Dynasty. It definitely looks like that is where we're going to go with that going forward. Swerve going to have the biggest night of his career at AEW at Dynasty, winning the world title. But Tony Khan is not making that moment about him. Everything's kind of hogwash, and everybody's just kind of, there are too many matches on this pay-per-view. We have 10 matches to digest on Sunday. And, of course, we'll be here with the post-show review to go over all of it. Me, Mr. Z, and Paulus Clarke will all be here to go over Dynasty. The in-ring action should be good, but 10 matches? That's a lot of matches. That's a lot of matches to digest and get through. And who knows what will be added on the 0 hour, or what else may come up in between here and there. A whole slew of titles on the line. The Trios titles on the line. The Tag Team titles on the line. The TBS titles on the line. The AEW Women's Championships on the line. The International titles on the line. The TNT title is not on the line because, well, I don't know. He's going to be in a tag match with Mark Briscoe and Eddie Kingston to take on the House of Black. The TNT title is the only title that's not on the line this week. And then the Men's Championship and the FTW Championship. What is that? 8 titles on the line this weekend. Out of 10 of the matches on the card, 8 of them are going to be title matches. And you have to wonder, Tony. What can I say? I see people roll through here. I appreciate you. Always drop your comments below. Help out in the conversation. New Japan Pro Wrestling does not match some 9 matches for a live show, and it never feels as long as the damn AEW. This show's going to be long. Slated to be 5 hours from what I'm gathering on pay-per-view without the pre-show. So we're looking at 6 hours with the pre-show. And that's just too much. Too much. And we're doing 3 hours the night before on Saturday with a Collision and Rampage back-to-back. And the Dynasty, I don't think has been promoted in the best light. Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson seems to be the biggest card on the match, but it's the night that Swerve should be getting crowned as champion. That's going to be your main event. But you're promoting that match bigger than that, and then you spent more time promoting a tag team ladder match between FTR and the Young Bucks than your world title match. You have all these little fights back and forth that nobody cares anymore. It's just the same as shit. Those poor fans, sure, you're going to be watching it too, so for you also, right? You better be ready. You better be getting there. Mr. Clarke's probably going to have to line up the caffeine pills because it's going to be a banger of a long night. And then we're going to put on a banger of a show because we are the Value of Wrestling. We are going to be one of the best podcasts in the IWC, and you can start saying our name. We are here. We may not be the biggest on the block. We may not be the loudest on the block yet, but we are going to get there, and our voice is going to be heard. We're going to sit on that stage. We are the Value of Wrestling. You can believe that. It's coming. The time's going to break through. We got a lot of things coming up in the future. A lot of big connections that we're trying to make and put in place so we can set this place on fire, set it ablaze. But AEW Dynamite for April 17th. The in-ring action was decent, to the point. Will Ospreay and Claudio Castagnoli gave us a good match, good solid match. It's just a shame that you waste that match without enough build-up or storyline. John Moxley coming out as the new IWGP champion, doing his speech and saying he's going to take apart Don Callis family. I guess this is going to lead to where Ospreay and John Moxley are going to take on one another. But will Ospreay find a way to Will Ospreay be the IWGP champion next? Will Moxley and him wrestle for that title at possibly Forbidden Door in some form or another? Will that title be on the line in that match? Will Ospreay go into All In as the IWGP champion and face the AEW World Champion? Who knows? It'll be interesting. Of course, Ospreay is already the third in line in the rankings for the AEW World Men's Championship. Interesting. What happens to Samoa Joe after he loses this war? Because we see every world champion, after they lose that, they just kind of fall off the face of the earth and drop down the rankings. Obscurity. But yeah, put some name on the respect of the value of wrestling. Yeah, we got some big names. Samoan Werewolf. Yes, Jacob Fatu is recently signed with WWE. Big supporter of value of wrestling. And of course, we have our good friend AJ Kirsch, which we hope to have on the channel soon with a nice sit-down interview. We're going to introduce you to AJ Kirsch, and I hear that he has a friend, buddy, in the wrestling business that my two boys want to get on this channel and also do an interview with. Now, hopefully, we can get connections in the Hood Slam. Maybe me and Mr. Z will get to attend some of these events and take part and get into the Independent Wrestling Federation or the independent wrestling scene in California. We're trying to make headway. We're trying to make moves. We're trying to shake it all up. But every step is a step closer, and we're getting there. Anyways, I thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this later, feel free to drop your comments, what you think of AEW Dynamite for April 17th, 2024. Go ahead and vote in the poll. And make sure you hit that thumbs up. That always helps us out in the algorithm, push us up forward, make us grow. We always appreciate that. Make sure you ring the bell for notifications so you always know when we come up with new content or live. Tomorrow will be the weekend preview. Mr. Clarke will post that up, and that'll be the weekend preview. That'll be what's happening from Thursday, tomorrow, till next Wednesday. Telling you all the things that are going down in the world of professional wrestling, from TNA, Impact, to SmackDown, to Monday Night Raw. What's going to happen on Dynasty to set you up for that. Monday Night Raw, and all the way into NXT and Dynamite of the following week. With anything else like Ring of Honor that may be out there. Then we will be here on Friday with your SmackDown post-show review. Hopefully Mr. Clarke is feeling 100 and will be back for that show to join me and help me out do that one. And then we'll be here on Sunday afternoon around 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as we always do with the weekly Roundup podcast, where me, Mr. Clarke, and Mr. Z will sit down and talk about everything going on in the world of professional wrestling. We'll give you our previews, who we think is going to win at Dynasty, and then that night we will watch Dynasty and we'll be on air with the post-show of Dynasty to break it all down, what is going to happen, what happened, how it all went down, what we see in the future, was it good, was it bad. We're going to talk about Dynasty, so be here for that. And then it's a whole new week where we start that cycle all over again. Raw, the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound every Tuesday with Mr. Miguel Z. And then we get all the way back to Wednesdays where we do this. I will solo do this Dynamite review because Tony Khan's chased everybody else off. And I'm only here to give you, our fans, our loyal listeners, and those people who want to know the truth. Because there's not just one person out here, or maybe two people out here who tell the truth about Tony Khan and his programming. And I don't just do it to hate. I want to see AEW succeed. I want to see AEW be successful. I want Tony to get his head out of his butt and make it back to what it was when it was heading somewhere and had a purpose and had a identity and did something other than just smart mark booking. I hate him looking like a clown and a fool when he's hanging out with the Young Bucks, when they're supposed to be heels and Tony Khan's supposed to be this fanboy, mark, a man of the people. You look stupid, Tony. Bad booking. Create your stars. Build up your stars where they look like there's something special. So when I see a John Moxley versus Powerhouse Hobbs, I just don't go, yeah. And I'm sorry, no disrespect to Powerhouse Hobbs. He's done a lot to earn his place and do everything he's done. But your character build, my sir. You really expect me to believe that you can beat a John Moxley. Now, of course, you can book that match anyway. And yes, you could get that win. It really wouldn't help the story where Moxley's going. So that's kind of what it is. Come on, Tony, book it better. Powder Sniff booking's getting old. And Tampon Bucks, just go away. Just go away. Get away from Okada. Just go away. Go away. You're dead to right, almost. It's just, it's garbage. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, on the big time, this has been the Value Wrestling. This has been your AEW Dynamite post-show review for April 17th. I thank you for being here. I thank you for joining in. I will see you on the next one.